Time for a baby 7 and Gretchen update. So y'all have seen a few videos this past week of them outside grazing, them being in the indoor arena running around, things like that. So they're getting along amazingly. I really have seen such a difference in Gretchen, kind of teaching him even the smallest things. Like before she came, when they would take him out to the grass, he would go stand out there, he would go lounge, he would lay down, all the things, but he didn't know to graze. And like he would want you to pick the grass up, and he still kind of does, but like he was actually mimicking her grazing and just chilling outside in the sunshine, which was amazing. So you heard that we had talked about doing a very minor procedure this past week for baby 7, and we tried to, and I'm going to let Dr. Orsini talk about it, and I'm going to let her explain why we stopped the procedure. And then, all the videos that y'all saw this week of him being outside were current. So this update's a little bit late just because it's been a crazy week, but he's fine. So like he was outside romping around, being great all week. So I'm going to let Dr. Orsini tell you about it.
Good afternoon. Seven's taking a nap. He's had a fun day playing with Gretchen this morning. We'll give you some of that content. I know you guys have seen that come forward. He's doing well. I know last week I promised a few things. So we talked about how he was going to have actually a procedure on his hind leg, just a quick, easy procedure to deal with this physis that's not behaving properly. And you see he's not in a bandage. And that's for one main reason. So under anesthesia, despite him having multiple episodes in the past that were safe and everything went fine, he had a little weird reaction to one of, potentially one of the medications. He had a weird response to the anesthetic. We caught it immediately, reversed the medications, woke him up. No side effects, no long-term effects whatsoever. But obviously, it stimulated a topic of conversation, specifically anesthetic monitoring and why is it important. So I know I promised OCDs. We'll do that next week. I promise again, and we'll get that, no problem. But so I know a lot of you guys, you have pets, you have animals at home, and they're going to need anesthesia for a variety of reasons. The number one thing we probably anesthetize pets for is spay and neuter, right? And there's been a lot of flack towards veterinarians of why are surgical procedures so expensive? Why is anesthesia so expensive? And that's for a few reasons. So anesthesia is not without risk no matter what. Now, the risk of complications, at least in our hands, is way less than 1%. But when it's your patient or your pet, that doesn't really matter, right? So we try and mitigate all that risk as much as possible with, intensive monitoring, having people specially trained. It is its own specialty, even in veterinary medicine, of anesthesiology. So here we have boarded anesthesiologists, we have training residents, we have specifically trained technicians for what to watch for and what are we watching for. So I have a quick video that I'll show you, and unfortunately we can't do the update in the surgery suite itself, just because of gowning and whatnot, but I'll show you kind of what is involved in anesthesia. So this is an anesthetic machine. Obviously looks very complicated. There's lots of dials, there's lots of things. So this is a ventilator to help the animal breathe while they're under anesthesia. And then we're gonna pan over quickly to just this simple little monitor. And you can see all the different information we get off of this monitor, from heart rate to actually the ECG tracing, as far as, what does the electrical activity actually look like? What is the blood pressure, both, systolic, diastolic, the mean blood pressure. We have saturation levels, oxygenation levels. We have end tidal CO2. We have what is the anesthetic level. So all of that information is being monitored constantly when your pet is under anesthesia. So when you're itemizing out, hey, this is the cost of a spay, how do we get to $800, $1,000, $1,500? And you look at your itemized invoice, a lot of times there's a line on there that calls anesthetic monitoring, pre-anesthetic blood work. All of that is based on the fact that these machines are not cheap, and the people that are trained to monitor your pet and keep them safe under anesthesia so that nothing bad happens, even if there is a reaction, I'm sorry, it costs money. And so, again, when you're having your own pet have these procedures, just please keep that in mind. We as veterinarians are not doing it for the fun of it. We do actually want your pet to be as safe as possible no matter what we do. So it is important, it is vital. It's the reason, honestly, that we caught it and we reversed things and took a step back, and we're going to try again next week because he still needs the procedure. It is an elective procedure, but we're going to change the scenario a little bit and try again. So yes, it was a scare. We ended up recovering from it well. He didn't seem to mind at all. He's back to his normal self, back to playing with Gretchen, and then we'll try again next week to get that simple procedure done. So yeah, questions, comments, concerns, we can try and address them, but that's the state of the state.
So anyway, look forward to more from Dr. Ursini explaining things. We've even tossed around the idea of having her, down to Nolensville to maybe be on the podcast and really go in depth about veterinary medicine and all of the good things that they do at UT and things like that. But we're so grateful for those that are helping Baby 7, for all veterinary professionals. They are literally saints on this earth, and we couldn't, keep the animals we love healthy without them. So very grateful for her spreading her knowledge and looking forward to sharing more Baby 7 updates.